This video is based on Lingshan Hermit's work The Most Knowledgeable Ignorant and the Smartest Fools. All rights reserved. Any infringement will be pursued. We often say that those with low cognition but stubborn opinions are the hardest to change and persuade. This is because all people with low cognition share a universal trait. They never feel that their own cognition is low. They mistake the books they have read, the education they have received, the places they have visited, and the praise or endorsements of others as proof of their high cognition. In truth, having a high level of education does not mean your cognition is necessarily high. Just as having Dzongsa Kyentse as your teacher does not mean you aren't a fool. Being highly educated often simply means you are a high-level intellectual slave. You remain oblivious to your status as a slave and are completely unaware of how thick the shackles around your neck truly are. Consequently, you might be full of skepticism toward traditional Chinese culture, yet never dare to question someone like Voltaire. A common misconception is the automatic equation of low cognition with low academic degrees or a lack of culture. However, low cognition is not strictly synonymous with these factors. Sometimes, the opposite is true. Equating knowledge and education with a person's quality and cognition is like mistaking a sharp-tongued child who never loses an argument for a smart child. This belief itself is a manifestation of low cognition. Only those with low cognition believe that knowledge and degrees can be perfectly equated with wisdom and character. If there are people in this world who are the least likely to be saved, those who possess low cognition yet believe they are highly enlightened and knowledgeable certainly occupy many seats. Because such individuals believe they possess supreme insight, they are difficult to reach even by the highest truths such as the Buddha-dharma. Accepting these would mean the values, knowledge systems, and survival skills they spent decades cultivating would nearly all become obsolete. Such people never lack excuses. They have attended Professor Milton Friedman's lectures at American universities, washed dishes in New York restaurants during summer breaks, driven to the Grand Canyon and Area 51, witnessed Musk's rocket recoveries, and read Ray Wang's 1587, A Year of No Significance. They hold immense interest in all advanced Western things and frequently chat with ChatGPT. With such vast stores of knowledge, they may even be very successful in their respective fields. This grants them an incredibly powerful ego and an unconquerable self-confidence. They are highly adept at using their learning to defend the self. Because their entire value system and knowledge structure are built upon the cognition that the self and all phenomena are inherently real, they lack right view. Having been raised on Voltaire's milk and Susan B. Anthony's pies, they have long been stripped of the ability to scrutinize themselves or what they have learned. Everything they possess was bestowed by the West. Thus, they lack the courage and super wisdom to reflect on Voltaire or overturn their own education. Such a person is fully convinced by the path to happiness provided by Western civilization, while simultaneously possessing a wealth of knowledge and ambition. They are deeply deceptive. The excuses and reasons they find are almost airtight to the average person. Ordinary people cannot see the logical loopholes, the linguistic traps, or their deeper motives. More frighteningly, it is not just ordinary people who are blind to it. These individuals themselves cannot see a single flaw in their own logic. This renders them completely incapable of self-renewal. They can quote anyone from Immanuel Kant to Emperor Taizong of Tang to Dostoevsky to justify their ideologies. This allows them to deceive both themselves and others, making them seemingly invincible, nearly impossible to persuade, and unstoppable on their path to self-destruction. Because their ability to defend their ideas is so potent and they have rarely been crushed intellectually, their ego remains perfectly intact, as does their belief that their cognition is superior. They trust their cognition implicitly, as it provides everything necessary to protect the self and rationalize any action. They may design the most sophisticated scams, only to become the greatest victims of their own making. I recently watched a movie called 3 Drops of Blood, featuring a group of child traffickers from northeast China. One of them told the police that kidnapping children wasn't an evil act, because some parents were unqualified, and their job was to find the children a better home. They acted as if they were so compassionate, yet they stopped short of calling themselves Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. This is a prime example of a cultured human trafficker with low cognition. I have seen many similar people. Their shared characteristic is that they never admit fault. No matter what immoral act they commit, they can instantly rationalize and glorify it. I once knew someone who was vehemently opposed to harvesting bear bile for medicine. Later, when he entered that very business, he began to rationalize his behavior, telling everyone that their extraction method didn't hurt the bears at all. In fact, the bears enjoyed it. People often ask me why some bad people commit evil without any psychological burden. It is because they never view themselves as bad people. They always rationalize and justify their actions. In their eyes, they are doing something great. In their eyes, you are the villain. They kill because they are forced by circumstances. They steal children because they can't bear to see them suffer with their original parents. I saw someone on Douyin claiming that ancient Siberian nomads practiced cannibalistic filial piety, eating their elderly parents to save them from the hardships of old age and bury them in their own bellies rather than abandoning them on a mountain. This is one of the most imaginative excuses I have ever heard. Yet, I am not surprised. Over the years, I have met many such people and heard many equally absurd justifications. Because they have low cognition but stubborn opinions, they can always find fresh and bizarre reasons to defend themselves. The reason they can be both low in cognition and stubborn in opinion is largely that they equate knowledge and degrees with wisdom. Their academic credentials make it impossible for them to associate themselves with the term low cognition. These people have a self-perception that is the exact opposite of their actual state. They live in a state of deep self-deception and cannot accept even a shred of reality. Any statement regarding their true condition is taken as a massive insult. They can only understand good that is tangible and visible. Thus, they are foolish enough to mistake a chocolate-coated sword handed to them as an act of kindness, while remaining unable to perceive genuine benevolence. Their vast store of knowledge makes them extremely skilled at self-justification, allowing them to deceive themselves and others and find endless reasons to remain unpersuaded. This makes them nearly incurable, the most knowledgeable of the ignorant, and the smartest of fools.